I planned a vacation with my girlfriend, and I am preparing to propose to her there, but she ruined it by tagging her friends along, so I left our trip and returned the ring. My girlfriend, Sarah, and I have been dating for 5 years, and I wanted to go on a vacation with her to celebrate. I planned the trip for several months. Of course, I shared my plans with her, and decided on skiing/snowboarding/other winter activities in CO. The activities seemed perfect, and I was looking forward to this for months because I wanted to propose to her at the end of the trip. 5 days before the trip, Sarah dropped the ball on me that she invited 2 friends to meet her there. I was upset because I wanted to spend one-to-one time with Sarah for our anniversary. It was plain and clear that this was a trip for just us. Even though I expressed my concerns, Sarah insisted that her friends already made plans to come and wouldn't back out. I decided to accept this because I could not force her friends not to come. I wish I fought more on this. I figured we could make some changes to our plans, and I would still be able to propose to her privately. Sarah blew me off for her friends, and we had no private time. After 3 days of second place, I left the trip and headed home. I told Sarah why I was leaving, and she was upset. She told her friends about my decision, and I was ganged up. They said we were all having a great time. She thinks I'm being a jerk for making her pick between her friends and me, even though her friends weren't invited in the first place. I never had personal issues with her friends before this trip. I never made Sarah pick between me or her friends because everyone needs friends outside of a relationship. I'm at home now and thinking about everything. I have a day to myself before Sarah comes home, so at least I get to relax a bit. Sarah and her friends think I'm overreacting and ruined the trip. I think Sarah was disrespectful and rude to me by ruining the purpose of this trip and having her friends gang up on me. Update: I decided that I wanted to end this entire relationship. I packed my important belongings, for example, passports and clothes, and arranged with my best friend to crash into his apartment until I could find my own. Usually, when small issues happen in a relationship, it ties into a bigger issue. The main reason why I decided to break up is because I realized that her friends will always be closer to her than me. Sarah has favored her friends over me and blown off some of our plans for her friends more than once. I lied to myself for years because I didn't want to face reality yet. I had hoped she would change, but this trip opened my eyes to the fact that I will always be in third place to her. I expressed my feelings multiple times, and Sarah promised to change, but she didn't. Sarah came home late yesterday. I said I had a lot to get off my chest and wanted to get through my notes before she talked or tried to interrupt me. The first question I asked Sarah was, how did she think the trip went? She said we all had fun, and it was memorable. I shouldn't have to feel like the third wheel in my relationship, especially on a trip that I planned. My next question was, why did you invite your friends in the first place? You knew this was an anniversary trip for the us. She talked about the trip with her friends since the beginning, and they have never been to CO. She thought it would be a good idea to allow them to come to have fun in CO with us. I followed up with my lack of knowledge of her friends coming along until days before. It's one thing if they come and do their activities, but it's another thing that every activity became a group activity. I signed up for a monogamous, not poly, relationship. My last question was, did you know I was going to propose to you? Sarah said she didn't know at all. The thought never occurred to Sarah that I was going to ask. She claimed she wouldn't have invited her friends to come along if she knew, but I responded, it would ruin the surprise if I told you. Sarah begged me to stay with her and believed we could work everything out. She didn't want me to throw 5 years away after this one bad trip. I listened to her promises to change for years regarding her friends, but nothing happened. I ultimately left Sarah with this. It's clear that there isn't enough room in your heart for your boyfriend and your friends. As much as I love Sarah, I can't stay in a relationship where I'm not respected enough. I left Sarah in the house alone and drove off to my friend's place. I'll figure out how to get my name off the lease, and I'll plan to get the rest of my belongings. As for the ring, I will return it this weekend.